You found it. Your home for the best content on your favorite team, the Fighting Tigers of LSU. Do us a favor, subscribe to the channel, leave your comments below, and be sure to smash that like button. LSU schedules a non-conference game. Generally, in the news cycle, it's a footnote. But 5 years ago in 2018, when we learned the Army Black Knights were coming to Baton Rouge, it certainly created a lot of buzz. And that date is finally here. Saturday, Army and Jeff Monken in his 10th season there at West Point coming into Baton Rouge. He joins us now. Coach, it's our pleasure. Thanks for a couple of minutes today. How are you?
I'm doing great. Thanks, guys.
Well, we appreciate a couple of minutes. I referenced that this game's been on the docket since 2018. Your program's played a lot of big places: Ohio State, Michigan, Oklahoma, Wisconsin. Some great games that people remember. Can you remember 5 years ago scheduling this game with LSU and how that all transpired?
No, I can't remember, and frankly, I don't know why we did. I have so much respect for the LSU program. They got such a great team. They're well coached, talented. And it's just a tremendous challenge for us.
Oh, there's a lot of people excited about your squad coming in. I'm sure you've seen that LSU's got camouflage end zones that they're painting. There's a lot of fanfare, pomp, and circumstance. The governor of Louisiana, of course, is a West Point alum. When you saw the camo end zone, did you have a reaction to it when you saw it?
Well, I haven't seen the end zone, so I can't really speak for that.
Well, you'll see it on Saturday. Coach, 10 years at Army. That's a program that's got amazing history. Just aside from West Point, just on the football field as well. 3 national championships, 3 Heisman Trophy winners. But after 10 years, I would imagine some things that you pass by maybe become common and everyday and ordinary. Are there still things after 10 years, places, people, things that you see every day that still awe you at West Point?
This is an incredible place. There's American history at every turn on this campus. So, every day I pull up to my house, I live here on campus. There's a Revolutionary era readout in my yard. So it's essentially a Revolutionary fort. So, I mean, everywhere here, and certainly the football stadium and the history of this great program. But there's no place like West Point. It's I think the most incredible college campus in America.
You've recruited a lot of guys from South Louisiana up there to West Point as well. I'm a proud Catholic High alum. My audience knows that. I yell it all the time. You got Connor Finucane on the squad. I mean, since you've been there at Army, you've recruited 5 Catholic High guys alone to West Point. What is it about maybe that program or just about recruiting in Louisiana that has stood out to you?
Well, certainly the Catholic program is a winning program, and just the young men that they turn out each year. They're great students. They're mature. They're professional. They're ready for the rigors of a place like West Point, and the guys that we've gotten have all been good football players. So that's certainly been a good place for us. But the state of Louisiana in general, we've signed a lot of guys out of Louisiana. We're going to bring Miles Stewart from New Orleans with us on the trip. He plays running back. He's a terrific player. So. It's a place that we've continued to go back to, and we'll continue to do that as long as I'm the coach here. I think football is important to the young men that play high school football down there. Football is important to that state, and so we've had good luck with those guys. But there's several guys coming up in our program, young guys like Jake Rizzo, who's from the state of Louisiana. All those guys I think are going to be good football players for us.
Jeff Monken is with us, Army's head coach. The Black Knights will be in Baton Rouge on Saturday. I think a lot of people know your cousin as well, Todd Monken, who was a coach here at LSU in 05 and 06 under Les Miles. Y'all ever have Thanksgiving conversations about his days coaching in Baton Rouge and what it was like?
Oh, he had a great experience there. He loved coaching at LSU and living down there, and he spent a good number of years in Louisiana, both at LSU as well as Louisiana Tech. And Todd's he's a tremendous football coach, and I know he really enjoyed his time. Was glad he had that opportunity to coach there at LSU and have that experience.
Coach, so much. I would imagine you've had to talk about the offensive transition ad nauseum, but I remember reading a very long feature that you did with Sports Illustrated this summer about having to transition from the traditional triple option and how that's all gone because of the cut blocking rules in the NCAA. I'm going to ask you just a very broad question. I mean, this is the first full year, obviously, or I guess the second first year of the implementation. I can look at a record and see 2-4. We've had some close calls against BC and some really good opponents. But from your perspective here, halfway through, how is that offensive transition going for you?
There's some growing pains, certainly, and I anticipated there would be. I didn't. I'd hope we could just roll right into it and score a bunch of points and win a bunch of football games. But there's some growing pains, and guys transitioning from the positions they played in the previous system, just the personnel fits at each particular spot. I mean, it's just going to take some time, and hopefully not too much longer. Obviously, we'd like to play a lot better on Saturday night against LSU. They got an incredibly talented football team. We're going to have to play really well if we're going to have a chance. But we got some important games coming up, certainly after that one as well. And our two academy rivals are still out there, and that was part of the I guess the reason for wanting to do something a little bit different, to continue to try to be competitive in those games. And we've won a good majority of those games over the last several years, but we're scoring 3 points in regulation on offense and 7 points or 14 points, and really they've been defensive battles, and I just wonder how much longer we can sustain that. And so just with the blocking rule changes a year ago, and I think the academy games being so important to us, I felt like we needed to make that move, and I know it's the right move. We've had some really great moments. I thought our guys played a complete, well-executed game against UTSA, who I have a lot of respect for and I think is a good football team. Played a good half against Syracuse in the first half, played a good half in the second half against Boston College, and then didn't play a good half at all against Troy this last weekend. So we've kind of been up and down a little bit, but our guys are getting better the more we do it, and every day I see improvements, and so hopefully we're gonna start to click.
Just a couple more for you, Coach. Obviously, a big part of the offense would be having Bryson Daly healthy. I know you spoke about him on Tuesday and said he was feeling your starting quarterback, that he was feeling better, maybe coming along. Can you give us an update here on Thursday and how he's doing?
Well, we continue to try to nurse him back to good health. Some positives yesterday. He's able to move around a little bit at practice, and so that's something we're going to have to just kind of evaluate as we go through the next couple of days before we travel.
It's LSU and Army Saturday night, Tiger Stadium, 6:30 p.m. Coach, I know you also mentioned earlier this week you've known Brian Kelly since his days at Grand Valley State. I'm curious, can you just elaborate a little bit on that relationship? I saw early in your coaching career you were a GA at Hawaii and then maybe spent some time at Buffalo. How did you two cross paths back in the late 80s, early 90s?
Well, I had my cousin Todd was an assistant coach at Grand Valley State for Tom Beck, and his younger brother Ted, my other cousin, played at Grand Valley State. So there was a connection there with Coach Kelly being at Grand Valley State. My cousin Ted hadn't been a player there, and Coach Kelly had a job open on his staff. He was gracious enough to interview me for a job. This is, oh my goodness, this is probably early 90s. And he didn't hire me for the job, but, got a chance to visit with him, and he's just been incredibly successful. But just over the years, we've crossed paths and coached against each other, and obviously have great respect for him and just all he's accomplished. He's just a tremendous football coach, and the great success he had at Grand Valley State, Cincinnati, Notre Dame, and now LSU.
Coach, Tiger Stadium has been known to not be so gracious to visitors. I have a feeling not only will we see a first in Tiger Stadium on Saturday with Army coming in, but we'll see an opponent cheered in Tiger Stadium maybe for the first time ever as well. Safe travels, continued success. We can't thank you enough for a couple of minutes here today.
Thanks a lot, guys.
Hey, thanks so much for watching. Please leave your comments. I love to interact, and be sure to hit the red subscribe button below.